We are 19 days away. 19 days away till the Eagles play a meaningful football game again in Brazil. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of ready to rock and roll here with the Eagles. We got an Overreaction Monday show lined up. Eagles, Phillies, Sixers. Everything is on the agenda. I got multiple movie conversations as well. Trending in the AM, we're live with all your thoughts and opinions in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We are live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you know the drill, wherever you are watching, whichever platform you are watching on. Do me that favor, hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe, follow button. Whichever platform you're on, just hit all the buttons you can to get as many people into the show and as interactive the show as possible. I greatly appreciate that. It's free to support your local content creators. It's free to share it out. It's free to do whatever it is that you can do to help us get it going here on this show. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, every single morning. You can find me at Beard of Knowledge on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you name it. That's how you find me, guys. And we've got a jam-packed show today. We do. Lots to talk about on an Overreaction Monday. The Eagles are 19 days away from playing meaningful football. We've got one more week. I think 3 more practices of training camp. It means a lot of battles are going to be coming to an end over the next 4 to 5 days. A lot of camp battles. A lot of who's going to start and who's not going to start battles going to be playing out over the next couple of days. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about what we've heard from this weekend's worth of practices, what we expect from the Eagles this week, who's going to make the team, who's not going to make the team. That's basically the Eagles conversation this week, but not just who's going to make the team and who's not going to make the team, but who's going to start and who's going to get the meaningful minutes on this team. That's lots to get into with the Eagles, not just today, but the entire week. Now, the next part of the conversation today is one Philadelphia Phillies and Overreaction Monday statement, basically. The Phillies will never win a World Series with Rob Thomson in charge of this team. Yes, they had a 4-game winning streak, and they lost their winning streak yesterday with a tough 6-4 loss to the Nationals. Now, there's lots of reasons why the Phillies lost yesterday. The bullpen, Taijuan Walker, Rob Thomson, his poor performance in managing the team in the 9th inning. Again, I don't even believe him when he talks. So that's on the agenda today. How disappointing the Phillies' loss yesterday to the Nationals really was. And how it just feels like a little blip on the radar, blah, blah, blah. No. Something really wrong when the Phillies lose the way they did yesterday. What is up, Fred Burns? First commenter of the day. How you doing this morning? Hope you had a fantastic weekend. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I hit another Hideki Matsuyama outright yesterday. The golf betting is on fire right now. 3 straight outright bets. So I'm in a good mood this Monday morning. What is up, K1? How you doing? I don't know about great. I'm really great at picking golf winners lately. I'll give myself that credit. But that's about it there. I don't know what you guys want to talk about more today. Those two Phillies and Eagles conversations. Also, Sixers have decided to sign a player because they know the Eagles are cutting Aqua Bowman at some point. So they had to come up with another play. They had to bring in a player to question my naming skills. And they signed French Olympic standout Guerschon Yabusele. I don't know if I said that right or not. Hopefully I was close. Guerschon Yabusele. So even Daryl Morey was out there having a good weekend, making a pretty big, minor, low risk, high reward, but pretty popular move from the Sixers fans this weekend. So there's even Sixers on the agenda, and I got two movie things. We'll save the movies for the second half of the show. All right, till the Eagles comments start coming in. I got about 5 or 6 things I've taken notes on for the Sixers, or for the Phillies, or for the Eagles, but Phillies wise, I got to get into it. Guy is just getting traded with KJ Martin in a few months. Maybe he is, but I really think Daryl Morey brought him in solely to see if I could pronounce his name live on this show. And I think I'm not sure, but it sounds like I'm pretty close. Guerschon, I think I'm right on his first name. Guerschon Yabusele. I think I'm pretty close. That was the only reason why they signed him, to test my name pronunciation skills, and because Aqua Bowman's pretty much gone. So that's on the agenda. I like it. Low risk, low risk, maybe a reward out of it. Who knows? But Eagles will be discussed today, I'm sure, at length. But I definitely want to start with the Phillies and their loss yesterday. I'm trying to draw an Eagles comparison to what Rob Thomson did. Not true. That's not why they signed him. What? Because I can pronounce his name, or because of what Fred said, Zach? I'm not sure which way you're going there on that. But they signed him because he flashed some really greatness during the Olympics. He flamed out his first time in the NBA with the Celtics, went over to Europe, has performed and gotten better. He deserves a chance. And, it was either Marcus Morris or him. Maybe they'll still sign Marcus Morris. I don't know. I'm trying to draw a comparison to what Rob Thomson did yesterday for the Phillies with the Eagles. Or even if you got a Sixers comparison to what he did yesterday, then give it to me. But last night, the Phillies were losing 6-4 in the 9th inning, a game where a couple runs from the bullpen. Taijuan Walker didn't pitch well. Offense hit 4 solo home runs. That was it. In the 9th inning, you get a base runner on base. Tying run comes to the plate. And instead, you gave Bryce Harper and JT Realmuto the day off. Yet you had Cal Stevenson and Garrett Stubbs up in the 9th inning with a runner on base as the tying run, and you did not pinch hit either of them with Bryce Harper or JT Realmuto. You let your bottom of the barrel guys stay in the lineup in a crucial moment where you could have swept the 4-game series, gotten your winning streak to 5. And as soon as he didn't do it, I knew right away. I'm like, he's going to come out after the game. Well, I wanted to make sure that they got a full day off, even though they got today off. And even we're coming up on a huge series against the Atlanta Braves on Tuesday. I knew that was going to be the excuse that Rob Thomson used. And let me tell you something. It is a bogus, dumbass excuse. A typical excuse from Rob Thomson. One that the media didn't follow up with too hard or press too hard. When he said, I wanted to make sure they got a full day off. If I was in that meeting room, well, don't they have tomorrow off? Actually, I heard a rumor there might be some golf thing going on today. So today's not really a day off. They signed him because obviously, Zach, I'm just having a little joke with the Guerschon Yabusele signing. I like the signing. I think it's a good low risk signing. They still need another body, in my opinion, at power forward. I wouldn't be afraid to bring in another point guard as well. Just so you know, Zach, we're just goofing around because of the name here on the show, but it is somebody that at this moment with the lineup the way it is for the Sixers, Guerschon Yabusele will probably get minutes right off the get-go with the Sixers off the bench. Shane, yeah, I forgot to change it today. That probably should. That was last Thursday's and Friday's comment. Last Friday after the Thursday preseason game. But yeah, that's still up there. I kind of forgot that was on the board there. I'll change it for tomorrow, but it's still true, Steve. Sugar Shane Falco is better than Kenny Pickett. And why? Because Kenny Pickett's losing his starting quarterback 2 role, his role to Tanner McKee, who yesterday in practice, Tanner McKee was running the second team for a little while. Exactly. Zach, I appreciate you, my man. K1, the cores know that part of this show is great sports debating, but part of this show is also making fun of my lack of ability to say anyone's name except for Christian Bezuidenhout. That's part of the fun of this show, how bad I am at pronouncing names. No, he got signed because he dunked on LeBron, and that's it. Exactly. For some reason, the Guerschon signing is more fun than it is actually about the Sixers. It's just about fun. I mean, he did dunk on LeBron. And you knew some NBA roster was going to give him a shot. We need a power forward. We need depth at power forward. It was either Marcus Morris or him. Why not try something else, right? If he's not the real deal, then you can always move on from him if you have to down the line, and you can always bring somebody else in down the line. I am sure of it. I wouldn't be concerned there at all, really. And I'm not concerned about it at all. It's a move that, again, it's costing you like $2 million. It's a minimum contract. If he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out. You know what I mean? There's no harm in bringing in Guerschon at all. No harm whatsoever. Very strong, solid, basic move that someone was going to make. Someone was going to do. Because Sixers will suit what? Tu parlez français? Parlez-vous français? Tu parlez français? What's tu parlez français? Parlez-vous français is do you speak French, right? So tu parlez français, I don't know what that one means. Only spent a few days in France in my life, so my French is no bueno. I'm as hungover as, oh my God. Always with the play. That is definitely what I see on Twitter a lot this morning. Oh, man. It'll be a sad day for the show when we cut Albert. How long did it take you to find how to type that name up properly? Look, the Eagles have a week's worth of roster battles going on this week. This is it. And I don't think Albert O has any chance to make the Eagles roster this year. He is so far behind, not just the number 3 spot, but the 4 spot. He's the 5th or 6th tight end on this team right now. Albert O is pretty much gone. You can lock it in. I'm expecting that E.J. Jenkins, not Manuel, Jenkins, probably even has a leg up on C.J. Uzomah at this point. So the tight end position, while not a sexy thing to discuss, the third tight end we've seen with Dallas Goedert's injury history, the third tight end does play a significant role for a few weeks on this team, plus special teams. So right now, E.J. Jenkins has the lead. C.J. Uzomah's 4th in the pecking order, and Albert O is 5th. Didn't Howie Roseman trade like a 7th-round pick or 6th-round pick to get Albert O? And it hasn't worked out at all since they brought him in. Joe Callahan is greater than Kenny Pickett. Absolutely. Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. They are, and they will. Zach, I love the confidence. I love the positivity. I hope you're right. I think you're right. I think the Eagles, offensively speaking, minus some offensive line issues, are one of the best offenses in football, not just in the NFC. You got to think about it. What teams can lay out there a near MVP quarterback, a wide receiver duo like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Like, who can roll that offensive, team out there? Now, the offensive line is something that, as we get going here, the final week of training camp, and we're 19 days from the first game, the offensive line is starting to scare me a little bit. The depth of the offensive line performed very poorly in the last preseason game, the backups. Yesterday at practice, Mekhi Becton went down with an injury. Landon Dickerson went down with an injury. Now you got 19 days to get them healthy and back going. But Becton's backup, Tyler Steen, is hurt. The depth on the offensive line is already starting to scare me massively. And I'm concerned. That is something that we've maybe to an extent taken for granted the last few years. The offensive line staying healthy, the offensive line being dominant. It feels like ages since, 2020, when we had like 19 different starting offensive line configurations. It's been a long time. We've had a pretty relatively healthy and obviously very dominant offensive line for the past 3 seasons. Now we're already banged up, and on top of being banged up, the depth behind the banged up players, not so bueno. So definitely a concern. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Tout parler français is the informal of vous parlez français. That's all it is. Okay. All right. Sacre bleu. Sacre bleu. Most of my French knowledge is not from the 4 or 5 times it was in France, not from the girl I dated for like a month that was French. Most of my French knowledge comes from Rush Hour 3 with Zhajing and their time in France. Sacre bleu. I could just picture Jackie Chan saying that in Rush Hour 3. Most of my French knowledge comes from Rush Hour 3. What's up, Bruce, my man? How you doing this morning? Bryce, why didn't you pinch hit in the 9th inning? That's my question for you. I'm starting to be concerned about the Eagles' D again this season. I think there's concerns to be had. The Eagles' defense has performed better the last 2 practices from all reports. You got to think that the Eagles' defense is going to be better than last year, but how much better? They were one of the worst defenses in certain aspects last year. I think they are better, but are they better enough to match what Zach says here, that the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl? To go to the Super Bowl, you got to have a certain level of defense. And I don't know if the Eagles have that. Now, there are some questions on this defense I'd like to ask. Let me catch up for some more comments first. Phil, I feel you're right to also be worried about the O-line because we don't have a lot of depth. I mean, I got the depth charts up. I mean, think of this. Behind your starting 5, Tyler Steen's your backup right guard. He's hurt. Fred Johnson seems pretty steady as a backup tackle. He's good, not great. You've got Keegan and Kennard. You got Dylan McMahon. You got Brett Toth. They're your options. You got some young kids. And Brett Toth, I know the Eagles love him because of his versatility. But that guy is nothing special. Got some issues. What's up, Mitchie Poo? How you doing this morning? That's Mitchie Poo's new YouTube page. Check it out, guys. MK Meets the World. One of Phil's new puppies is named Aquabon. No. There ain't no more puppies. I got 4. That's it. No mas. It's all I need. 9 likes. Not enough. Keep hitting that like button, guys. We continue to not have a quarterback 2. Offensive line depth that we have been worried about the last few weeks is showing its head. Wide receiver 3 is still up in the air. But Cuffy had some competition from the guy. There's a lot in one comment here from Duck. Tanner McKee took backup reps yesterday in practice. It's a sign that at least in practice, the Eagles are seeing what we're talking about. But again, I'm not confident in Tanner McKee being starting if Jalen Hurts goes down. I'm not confident in Kenny Pickett. Would it shock me if Howie Roseman made a move for another quarterback? No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. But I also heard something interesting on the quarterback thing. They might keep a Kenny Pickett 2, Tanner McKee 3. Because Kenny Pickett's experience, he might be better off if Jalen Hurts got hurt in the middle of a game, coming in and picking up mid-game. But then the next week, if Hurts missed time, then you start Tanner McKee with a full week's worth of practice. So he might be the better big picture guy, but maybe not. So you still dress, Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee's your emergency third quarterback, the 49ers rule, but then the next week you flip it. Maybe that's what happens there. But the other comments here, the offensive line, we just talked about it. Crazy. Wide receiver 3. On the Eagles, I said it this weekend. I tried to write down some of my tweets this weekend so that I have some information here on what, to jog my memory on what I was thinking Friday night, Saturday night. I said that I only think right now, if the final rosters had to be made right now, there's only 4 wide receivers making this roster on the Eagles right now. Obviously, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Britton Covey. And Paris Campbell, I think, still has a leg up because of his experience. I don't think Johnny Wilson makes the roster. I don't think Ainias Smith makes the roster. I don't think John Ross makes the roster if the decision had to be made today. They are going to go out and find another wide receiver. When, where, who? No clue. But they are, in my opinion. Phillies messed up again yesterday. Yeah, look, Bryce, you should have been pinch hitting in the 9th inning. Why you do not use Bryce Harper or JT Realmuto in the place of Cal, who? Stevenson? And Garrett Stubbs in the 9th inning with a runner on base is one of the dumbest asinine things and very typical of Rob Thomson. And it's why my Skip Payless hot take of the day is the Philadelphia Phillies will not ever win a World Series when Rob Thomson being the manager of this team. Never. Breaks my heart. I got my 2022 World Series or National League Championship shirt on today. This will never happen again under Rob Thomson. Not happening. I'll never get a new shirt to update this one with Rob Thomson as the manager of this team. Why? Because he's got no freaking clue. He lucked himself into this one. There you go. That's my Payless hot take of the day. That might be my Skip Payless hot take of the week, to be honest with you. Linebacker continue to look mad. Running back room looks so good. I think the linebackers look great, but, Duck, that's because I'm comparing them to what the linebackers looked like last year. Are the linebackers great? I don't know. But the linebackers, I think, are head and shoulders ahead of last year. Now, if Nakobe Dean can stay healthy, hot take, number 2 of the day, Nakobe Dean will be a starting linebacker on this team by week 3. That's my opinion. Nakobe Dean's playing well. Zach Bond can help on the outside if necessary. Devin White. I think Nakobe Dean, and next year, Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. will be your starting 2 linebackers. Interior. Yeah. I mean, I gotta love the work that Vic Fangio has done with the linebackers. Running backs, they're only going to keep 3 running backs. We know who those 3 running backs are. The top of the board, Saquon is so good. Will Shipley is definitely decent for a rookie. And, of course, Kenny Gainwell is Kenny Gainwell. Trevor Keegan has been really good in camp. Yes, he has. Going up against 3s. I'm not sure how Trevor Keegan will do going up against 1s. He will definitely be looking at shoring it up. Absolutely agree with that for next season, Davey. Absolutely. Look, and Bruce, when he didn't make those pinch hits in the 9th inning there, I instantly tweeted out, he's going to say he wanted to give the guys a full day off, which is a load of horse shit. They have all day today off. You didn't need one pinch hit in the 9th inning, Bruce. Isn't going to affect you one bit. And having a 5-game winning streak going into Atlanta on Tuesday is much different than losing in the 9th inning of a baseball game against the dreaded Washington Nationals. Now, the momentum's different going into Atlanta. To me, it's a big deal. Please hit that like button. I need it. I want it. I damn well deserve it. Nobody has depth at offensive line, and a few teams have quality stars like we have. You worry too much, big guy. It's actually it's a fairly fair statement. It is. It is. I still have buried, recessed memories though of 2020, K1, when what's his name was fixing his gloves when we literally started a different configuration like 12 straight games. Obviously, we lost a lot of games. Now, Landon Dickerson and Mekhi Becton's injuries are being reported to not be super serious. They'll probably miss some practice. They won't play in Saturday's preseason game. But all reports are saying they'll be fine for week 1 in Brazil. But we'll see. You know what a great movie that you can learn lots of French? 70 Throw the Day of the Jackal. Okay. Never heard of it. Safety is quit and looking solid. Can we talk of the Ringo of it all? He is making cornerback 2 next season. Safety, yeah. I mean, I'm still set after the last game on Thursday night that James Bradbury lost his shot on this team, that Avonte Maddox will be your backup safety until Sidney Brown is back. Tristan McCollum will make this roster, I think, at this point as well. Cornerback, man, it's crazy. Eli Ricks is going to get cut. It's crazy, but he probably will get cut. I love, again, another cornerback Vic Fangio thing. Just flat out saying before yesterday's practice, calling out a player. Josh Joby has made too many penalties in training camp. You got to love the honesty. Zach McPherson, a guy that last year I had a lot of hype for before he got injured, going to get cut. If you would have told me Josh Joby, Zach McPherson, James Bradbury, and Eli Ricks, 3 or all 4 of them are going to get cut, I would have been like laughing. But yeah, Ringo and Rodgers and Quinion Mitchell, they're your starters in the secondary next year. This year you still have Darius Slay. Quinion Mitchell is going to be on the field a lot early in this season. I'm hyped for him. This is the first time I'm not worried. Darius Slay plays almost every single game. Very rarely misses a game, but he does get bagged up in the middle of a game and come out from time to time. I'm not worried about it. Very confident in the Ringo, Rodgers, Quinion Mitchell youth movement. Kind of reminds me when we brought in Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown to add to Bobby Taylor. And we had those 3 great cornerbacks all at the same time. Kind of feel the same way about our secondary right now. Why did Thomson let Bryce stay on the bench? Because he wanted to make sure he had a full day off. I don't know if you guys heard it or saw it, but Steve Jeltz, former Phillies legend, trivia question answer, Steve Jeltz, not proved, but supposedly called into the Phillies post-game show on WIP yesterday after the game, bashing Rob Thomson for it, saying pinch hitting in the 9th inning doesn't affect your body from having a day off. Idiotic. Well, I knew what you meant there. I knew. Phil Thomson is not a good, and I feel like look, I've been saying it. I'm the only person in all of Philadelphia that went on the airwaves, the intraweb, anywhere, and said after we lost the World Series in 2022, the only one that had the guts to say we should not extend Rob Thomson. I said I knew they were going to. I understood why they were going to, but I'm the only one that had the guts to say we shouldn't do it. We will, but we shouldn't. Just my opinion. And let me tell you something. Kind of feel like I'm right. Welcome to the early yeah. Oh wow, I'm way behind on comments. The early baseless hot take. That might mean the other thing might hit the over on it today. You know, is there a quarterback controversy yet? What quarterback? I mean, maybe. I don't even think there is a quarterback controversy. I think Tanner McKee. I forget who said it. I don't know if it was ESP or Zach Berman or Martin Frank. One of the Eagles beat reporters basically put out this post yesterday, and I really buy into it, that they're never going to announce Tanner McKee as quarterback 2. Kenny Pickett will be quarterback 2 in the game, and Tanner McKee the emergency quarterback. But if Jalen Hurts had to miss a start from the beginning of a game, the Tanner McKee would start a game. But Kenny Pickett's experience coming in mid-game makes him a better fit for that backup role. That's what I read. I'm like, that makes sense. So that's the way I'm going with it. What was K1's last comment? Oh, the offensive line. Yeah, that's right. There are quarterback controversies all over the NFL. Yeah, I mean, look, Gardner Minshew beat out of Aiden Connell in Las Vegas Raiders. They're going to stink. Minshew Mania running wild over Vegas. 7 days of the Jackie is a solid watch. Very 70s spy assassination thriller. Just being remade with, I've never heard of it. So, darn, I guess Screaming A. Smith and his minions won't be talking about it, saying, I guess not. So sorry. What's up, Jay? Cut the dead weight, Slay, and what? 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 You want to cut Darius Slay? Now, Avonte Maddox, you can't cut him because he's got that safety ability. You don't need to cut Darius Slay. I did say, Jay, early in the offseason that Darius Slay was a better trade candidate than James Bradbury because he had value. But you need Avonte Maddox because he can play slot, he can play safety, he can play a lot of positions. Avonte Maddox will not see the field unless there's injuries early in the season. That's my opinion. Not with the crap at quarterback 2 and 3 positions. We pull in an old head vet quarterback there, maybe a quarterback controversy here. Yeah. I don't think, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, but I think they will roll with Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee. I think he'll peruse the market, but I think he'll roll with it at least early on. I'm glad I said it then, and you were right, and I also feel are legit as the one to look. I admit when I'm wrong. I also love to brag when I'm right. Do you believe in Joe Hendry? Oh, I'm taking Joe Hendry over Kenny Pickett any day. Say his name, and he will appear. Pickett never looked comfortable back there, but that could be other crap. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things, but look, Duck. Kenny Pickett got sacked, 4 times in like 10 plays, it feels like, behind the second string offensive line. Tanner McKee had the third string. Tanner McKee had Max Sharpring or whatever his name is playing tackle for the first time, and he didn't get sacked. So Tanner McKee isn't supposed to be as athletic and as Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett had no pocket presence on Thursday night. Pickett is gone. Hey, I can't. Tony Woods. I doubt it. You'd make a lot of Eagles fans happy with this comment, but I doubt it. That's just my opinion. What up, man? Chatter, how you doing? 3 weeks till football, my man. Well, trade Slay. Mo. Yeah, no. I highly doubt they're trading Darius Slay at this point, Jay. I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying. It's just not going to happen. How Isaiah Rodgers looking? Isaiah Rodgers has locked up a starting cornerback role. He will be starting opposite of Darius Slay on the outside. He has beaten out Keely Ringo. And it's not even close, the competition between Ringo and Rodgers. And that's not a knock on Rodgers or Ringo. It's just how great Rodgers has played in camp. Yeah, I think I could do that. I could get behind that Duck. Slay as a cornerback coach. I don't know if he's got intentions of closing or coaching, but Slay and his wife Jen seem to mostly really love the Philadelphia area. How high should we be on Trot Jr.? Been playing really well. I think we should be very excited. I thought Jeremiah Trotter Jr. would be a project. There were 2 or 3 picks this year in the draft that I thought were going to be projects where we weren't going to see much, if any of them, their rookie year. But Trotter Jr., along with Alex Hunt, have played themselves into a position where you might see them on the field week 1. Not on special teams, on the field with defense. I'm sure there's a package for them. Trotter Jr., I said at the beginning of the show, stay humble podcast. Said it before, that in 2025, which is a long way away, Trotter Jr. and Nakobe Dean will be the starting linebackers of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm very, very hyped there with the potential there. Who's better, Cody Rhodes or Kenny Pickett? Oh, Kenny Pickett, easily. Cody Rhodes. This is what I do when I hear Cody Rhodes' music come on, I listen to his intro, and then I change the channel. Well, I grab the remote. I go like this, because nobody actually turns the channel anymore. Cody Rhodes, overrated. Pickett is not good. We all kind of knew that, though, right? I know I'm beating a dead horse. We love Hassan Reddick with this defense. That brings up somebody else that we could talk about today. Reported yesterday, best practice of camp, which is kind of weird since we're already like into our third week of training camp. Josh Sweat had a big day yesterday on the practice field. The odds are we're not bringing Hassan Reddick back, Jose. Would it be hilariously funny? You trade him away and then you trade back for him? Sure. Not going to happen. We keep talking about who's replacing Hassan Reddick's production. 2 years ago, Josh Sweat was a leader on this defense. There was about a 1.5 year stretch from 22 into the middle of 23 where Josh Sweat was a top 5 defensive end in football, sack production-wise. But he really fell off the end of 23. Not sure why. Josh Sweat needs to have a big year because not only do we need the production of Hassan Reddick picked up, and there's question marks on Nolan Smith and everybody else, Bryce Huff, but Josh Sweat took a restructured deal, a pay decrease to stay here in Philadelphia, and in doing so is on a 1-year deal. So Josh Sweat is not just playing to pick up the Hassan Reddick slack. Josh Sweat's playing for his NFL career, his next contract, what kind of money he can make. And if he has a great year, teams are not afraid to pay big money to defensive ends, edge rushers. So Josh Sweat has got a lot on the line. And as I started thinking about it yesterday after reports of him having a great practice, when I heard he was having his best practice at camp, I was like, that sucks because he's a veteran. He should be one of the guys exceeding or in the forefront every day of practice, but he was kind of in the background. But Josh Sweat could have a very big year, and it'd be huge for him if he did. Any surprise cuts for the Eagles? I think Johnny Wilson would be a surprise cut because everyone fell in love with him. I don't think there's going to be any surprise cuts on the Eagles. I really don't. Maybe Aeneas Smith because Howie's never cut a 5th-round rookie before, but I don't know. Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it. I would love it, and it's a funny joke to make. But I think Kenny Pickett's here at this point. Saquon Barkley, yeah, he said he wants to be the best of all time. And look, if our offensive line's healthy, he's going to have the chance to do that this year. Sao Paulo extended forecast is September 6th will be clear with a low of 18 degrees Celsius. You had to throw that Celsius thing in there because, I really know what 18 degrees Celsius really is. Plus, 3 weeks out, 19 days out, you really can't. You can't really predict 19 days out. Huff's going to be good. Now he's being brought in here to be great. Will he be great? One of the many mysteries that we are facing entering this season. Will Tyrant Price make the team? No, he will not. The Eagles are only going to keep 3 running backs. Obviously, Saquon, Kenny G, and Will Shipley. There's Price. There's Milton. There's a couple guys that could be the 4th running back, but I highly doubt they will keep a 4th running back. Why? Because it's just not necessary. Not at this point. 1 or 2 of them will go on the practice squad, and that's it. Last year, Sweat always took himself out of run plays. Tackles would bully him into the inside. Got to set the edges. Yeah, and it's crazy. I saw a stat, and it was over a 1.5 year stretch, he was a top tier guy in the sack department. And I remember him being in 22 a really solid guy against the run. But I don't know what happened to him last year. I don't know if he was playing injured. Don't know what the deal is with Josh Sweat. I mean, obviously he knew his situation. Willing to take a pay decrease to stay here. I don't know. It's a curious case to me. Jalen Hurts, Kenny Pickett. Yeah, absolutely. They're the only 3 running backs making the team. About 60. So, all right. 65 degrees is a good temperature to play football in. 60, 65. It's not cold. It's not too hot. It's the perfect temperature to play football in. Did he miss a tackle this morning? Did he try to tackle his kid or something like that? Bradbury will be cut. He's going to play on Saturday. Hopefully play well enough where they could trade him for a 7th-round pick. Most likely not. He will be one of the first people probably cut. Eric, what is up, my man? AJ Devontae, Paris, ranked top 5. No, I said it to start the show, man, chatter. The Eagles, one of the Eagles that will make the opening week roster is not on the roster right now. I still think Paris Campbell. I know a lot of people are saying Paris Campbell is not making this roster. I know he missed almost 2 weeks with an injury. But if they do not bring in any additions on the offensive line or on the wide receiver room, Paris Campbell's making it by default, being that he's experienced, by default that he's more talented than anybody else outside of Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. And I think there will be a Paris Campbell, Britton Covey, and an X rotation at wide receiver 3, depending on the situation, with some 12 personnel, 2 tight end looks as well. That's my prediction. Eric, how was the weekend? I hope everybody had a great weekend. It was a nice weekend. How was the rest of the weekend? Yeah, everybody hopefully had a good one. Yeah, Uzma is not. Uzma is on the bubble. Here's one of your things. You're a big CJ. Yeah, Mad Chatter loves his 2nd and 3rd string tight ends. Calcaterra has already been locked into the tight end 2 spot, Mad Chatter. Uzma's batting CJ Jenkins for tight end 3. And at this moment, EJ Jenkins has a leg up over CJ Uzma to make the roster. I agree. 3 running backs because Barkley is going to get. Yeah, exactly. With Saquon Barkley here, there's no need for a 4th running back on the roster, especially with the only other reason you'd have a 4th running back. Like in years past, we kept Boston Scott as the 4th wide because he could return kicks. Well, you don't need Boston Scott to return kicks. There's a lot of options to return kicks on this team. So it's only going to be 3. But what they'll do is they'll try to have 2 running backs on the practice squad so that if Saquon Barkley is going to miss a game or 2, they got options. That's what's going to happen. Let's go hit that like button, that share button, subscribe button. It's so brutally important to do all that. You know what else is brutally important? Is using SherryTickets.com when you need tickets to a sports event, concert, theater, wherever. SherryTickets.com is easy to use, has no hidden fees, great prices. The price you see is the price you pay. Go to SherryTickets.com, pick your tickets that you want. The price you see will be the price at checkout. Then you enter promo code EOP10 and you'll get an additional 10% off. Why overpay with the rest? Save with the best. SherryTickets.com, promo code EOP10. Yeah. We got a lot of comments to catch up on here. I can't complain. Oh, most of the comments are just you guys small talking about your weekend. I love it. I got 2 great movie things. 2 great movie questions or comments that I'm going to bring into the end of the show. I might actually save one for tomorrow. And I'll just bring up one today, and I'll save the other one for tomorrow. Edge, a position of weakness, but not bad. Graham, Huff, Sweat, got weaker. You're forgetting about Alex Hunt as well. Just throwing it out there. And the fact that Jalen Carter is going to play on the outside a few times. I don't know, mister. Maybe. Productive weekend. I don't even know what that is. I got 3 hours of sleep on Sunday. Oh, my God. Carter, the underachieving. Stop. Look with you. Kellen Moore got them quick hitters to Barkley and Goddard. That will set them up for the big plays to AJ and Smitty. Yeah, I mean, my most fascinating thing or theory or storyline or whatever that I'm looking for, Jay, this season is what's going to happen to the touches, targets, usage, now that Saquon Barkley is here. Is A.J. Brown still going to have 1,500 yards this year? Maybe. Everyone assumes it's going to go down. Maybe. Is Smitty going to have over 1,000 yards? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it comes down. Is Saquon Barkley going to have 1,500 yards? Or is it going to be used a little bit less like they did with DeAndre Swift last year? I don't know. It's something that fascinates me to see how it's going to play out at the end of the year, what the statistics are going to look like. We can predict the weather 3 weeks out because our Alien overlords control the weather. Is that right? Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith's an interesting one. Like he's just up and down every day in camp. Nolan Smith should be the guy, but he's playing halfway into the third quarter preseason game still, which does not mean somebody's overly confident in that person. Yeah, CJ is not stinking it up. He's just not doing anything. And EJ Jenkins is making big plays day in and day out. That's all there is to that. Yeah. How about Nakobe Dean getting some linebacker love? That's shocking. Look, it would not shock me if play one of the defense in Brazil, Eagles defense starter, Nakobe Dean, opposite of Devin White. Zach Bond kind of won the starting linebacker spot a long time ago, but he's an exterior, an outside linebacker. I don't know. Maybe there's a scenario where Nakobe Dean is on the field for the first defensive play. It would not shock me. Davis? Yeah, exactly. TMZ doesn't know what he's talking about, sometimes. You won't see any big plays because AJ and Smitty are only running curl. Yeah, exactly. I still have yet to see, Joe, a single curl route. But maybe Kellen Moore is saving that for the regular season. Maybe. I don't know. Not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with the curl routes. Dean looks solid, always around the play, gets into the backfield, tackles well. Now, again, his size will always be an issue. Yes, always. His injury history will always be a question. But if he's always around the ball and making plays, that's all you can hope for a linebacker. And Nakobe Dean, if Nakobe Dean can stay healthy, there were reports the last 2 days of practice that some of the reporters were saying that is the best they've seen Nakobe Dean play since the University of Georgia. That's a positive thing. That's Vic Fangio's tough love leadership motivating a player to be better. And I love it. Fangio is playing Smith because he got so few. Is that why? I don't know. I heard somebody else say this too, Duck. Well, he needs the reps. I don't know. To me, if you're going to be a vital piece of the starting defense, yeah, you might want to get some reps in the first quarter, second quarter. And I love how Vic Fangio is playing everybody and Kellen Moore isn't. It's like two totally different stories there. But if he's supposed to be such a vital thing, he shouldn't be playing in the third quarter. He shouldn't. It's unnecessarily risk. I think it's because they're not sure still how much they can. They know they're going to use him. They're just not sure how much they're going to use him. They're not sure how much he could give them. No, he's not underachieving. Jordan Davis will never, ever show you something in his stats. He's never going to have big tackle or sack numbers. Jordan Davis is one of the guys that you have to look at the analytics of. You know, what kind of double team percentage, defensive efficiency percentages, things like that when he's on the field versus not. Because that's what that Jordan Davis is. Jordan Davis is a guy that's going to clog up the middle. Jordan Davis is going to draw double teams, sometimes triple teams, and leave someone else open. So Apollo Brazil is famous for his Japanese cuisine. I learned something new. I was supposed to go to Brazil for Carnival when I was working on cruise ships. Then I quit working on the cruise ships. I never got back. Always wanted to go to Brazil. Only places in South America I've ever been to was Venezuela. Love to do a little bit more of South America. Nolan Smith has seemed to become the Nakobe Dean Jordan Davis at 23. Now the focal point of negative hot takes. I like that comment, Eric. I do. I think you're spot on with this comment. I really do. It's easy to pick on, I guess, Nolan Smith. Maybe. Barkley should have at least 30 targets out of the backfield He's a mismatch on 30 targets over the season. I would actually think targets should be probably a little higher than that. How many targets? If anybody's watching has like 2 minutes to Google search, just give me the targets of just the top 2 running backs last year. DeAndre Swift and Kenny Gainwell. How many targets did they get out of the backfield last year? I would love to know that number. Cooper DeJean is back, yes. So is Paris Campbell at practice this weekend. I expect to see Cooper DeJean play on Saturday in the final preseason game. How much he gives the Eagles week 1 or 2 of the season, probably not much. But I think by week 3 or 4, you see them try to mix Cooper DeJean in. It's great to see him back and back out there. Is it just me, or are we seeing more crossing routes and in routes? I've just seen more over the middle. And maybe not just over the middle, maybe not crossing around. More of a West Coast offense, quick hitting type. They're not working as much as they should. But the way that it's literally 1, 2, 3 steps, and you see Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee trying to unload the ball. Now, Kenny Pickett has been holding on to the ball too long and not getting rid of it. But I see that they're trying to do the 1, 2, 3, read 1, read 2, get rid of the ball. Yeah, Reed Blankenship, Gardner Johnson. Are you a fantasy football guy? Well, I'm a huge fantasy sports guy, period. Almost won a GPP in golf this weekend. This close to a couple $1,000 payday. I don't do season-long fantasy anymore. I still know a lot about it. So if you ever have any time on this show, any day, from now through the end of the season, any fantasy football questions, ask them. I'll do my best to answer them. But I definitely tend to go towards the best ball route and the DFS route more now than the season long. I love best ball. I've only done 1 draft so far, but I'll probably have 10 best ball lineups by the start of the season. And the DFS, I will pump out lineups all the time. I might even do some short videos of best ball and stuff like that later on down the line. Davis there to clog up the middle. Absolutely. Look, Jay, the man Chatter is a cool guy. He's a big supporter of the show, but he's a Bills fan. He doesn't really truly know what's going on with the Eagles on a daily basis. I love TMC for his interaction, but again, he doesn't know. I can see that we are overly hard on players we expect a lot from. Yeah, I love that the analogy had a throw. Like the analogy at the end there, Duck, wasn't necessary, but there was a Family Guy cutaway once on this with the kid in the room on his computer, and the dad comes in and like, come back to me when you doctor. Yeah, like that. I love the. Oh man, that's so funny. Yeah. What do we got here? So is Chile. I have a good friend that lives in Chile. Oh, they had a president with a Japanese ancestry. Yeah, I didn't know that. Nolan Smith, I heard, is stepping up. Well, you heard wrong. Yeah, I love it. Oh man, the comments that come up sometimes. Pickett hasn't been able to get a read on the defense, and I think he's just unsure of himself, which is kind of weird because, again, say what you will about the Pittsburgh team, but in the last 2 years, he's 14-10 as a starter, which not bad, not good, in a tough division with the Bengals, with the Ravens, with the Browns. Look, I mean, Kenny Pickett's won some football games. So he's a game manager style. He's never going to be flashy. That's dope. I'm retired. Exactly. I think Fangio has seen how soft this defense was last year and decided to play them in the preseason to harden them up. Do you think his old school mentality will bump heads with how he's micromanaging? No, I think as long as Nick Sirianni keeps the offense completely separated with the defense, I think they're fine. If Kellen Moore was the head coach, offensive coordinator, there might be some button heads because obviously Kellen Moore doesn't believe in playing the starters. And there might be some disagreements there. But I think Vic Fangio has been given free reins to run the defense as he sees fit. I think Howie Roseman will go to Vic Fangio before Nick Sirianni. Who should we keep? Who should we cut? That's how I think this game is being played. I think it's working because, realistically speaking, take away Brandon Graham, Darius Slay, most of our defense is very young, and that tough love coaching can work on the younger players a lot more than if this team was filled with 30-year-old, vets. It might not work as well. Which corner, Maddox, DeJean, Ringo, playing the slot to start the season? None of the above. Quinion Mitchell will be the starting cornerback, Michael, week 1. No doubt about it. Let me guess, Phil hates no. We talked about the kickoff the show that basically Daryl Morey saw that Albert O was getting cut. I needed to sign somebody to be the new Albert O of the morning show, where I can't pronounce the name, but I think I got it down. Guerschon Yabusele. It might be so far off, but that's how I'm saying it. It was either him or Marcus Morris. I'll take him. Super low risk, super potential high reward. And if it doesn't come out with the high reward, it was a low risk, $2 million. I think it's a good move. He earned another shot in the NBA. I love it. It's thinking outside the box, for sure. Just firing through some of these here. When I was in college, I had a friend killing it in college, getting all types of good grades, and his mom said if he didn't switch his major to medical, he'd have returned to his country and enlisted. Oh my God. Oh man. Dude, there's this one kid. I don't know. We'll just go continue on here. How he's looking at Vic Fangio as his Jim Johnson. I think that might be a fair way to look at it. Vic Fangio's got the experience. He's been around the league for a long, long time, decades. He's being given full reins of the defense. So I don't think there's any worry about the button heads there at all. Daryl Morey must have read all my criticisms for the past 2 years. Yeah, Daryl Morey. Look, it's the first time in my memory that Daryl Morey did not do something that was expected. It was expected to trade for James Harden. It was expected to bring in Paul George. It was expected this. It was expected that. It was expected that Marcus Morris was going to get that last spot to be the backup power forward. But instead, Daryl Morey decided, hold on a second, let's try something else. Guerschon flamed out in the NBA. He was a former first-round pick by the Celtics. I think it was like the 15th or 16th pick back like 5-6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. Flamed out, barely saw the court in his 2 years here. Went to Europe, Real Madrid, and then a couple other teams. Balled out. Was shooting over 40% from three the last couple of years. Went to Olympics, played for Team France, dunked on LeBron. But outside the dunk on LeBron, showed energy, hustle, can score, but can do the dirty work, the rebounding, the banging, playing defense. I like it. I like it because it's something different from Daryl Morey. Someone was going to give him a shot, a vet minimum shot in the NBA. And I'm glad it was the Sixers. Is it me, or does Sirianni feel more comfortable with Fangio than Moore? You think it's a Paisan thing, or does he know that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this one, Duck, this comment. Is he more comfortable with him? I don't know. Maybe it's that Sirianni is intimidated by Fangio, of his honesty. Maybe Sirianni, it's like Sirianni's it's like, have you ever worked anywhere? I've never done it with my dad, but I did it with my older brother. It's like, I remember once hiring my older brother to work for me at a restaurant in the kitchen. I was a kitchen manager. I hired him to be one of my line cooks. But I had so much trouble looking up at my senior and barking orders at him. Maybe Sirianni isn't more comfortable with Fangio. He's letting him do his thing because he's intimidated by him. Moore not only is not his elder, he's younger. Moore is taking Sirianni's job to an extent away from him. Look, I think Nick Sirianni's smart enough to know the writing's on the wall. One of two things is going to happen. The Eagles are going to fly high, and Moore's going to be a head coach of a football team next year, or the Eagles are going to falter, and Kellen Moore is going to be the head coach of the Eagles next year. I think Nick Sirianni realizes that. So I think him and Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore have to be on the same page for both their career sakes. But Fangio has no intentions of taking the job. So I don't know if it's more comfortable, but it's more of like a fatherly figure that he looks up to, but he's also got to be the boss of. I don't know if that made sense, but that's how I'll look at it. Was Jackson of his Tyus Jones? Yeah, I wanted Tyus Jones, and the money he went to Phoenix. That was like 2-3 weeks ago. Reggie Jack. I think Tyus Jones. The reports were didn't want to come here because he wanted somewhere to go to start. Which honestly, if Tyus Jones was brought here, I would have started him over Kelly Oubre. That would have been my decision. It's a good thing, like I get told all the time from the troll accounts. Well, it's a good thing you're not the GM, or good thing you're not the coach. I would have started Tyus Jones over Kelly Oubre. So I still feel Kelly Oubre is best suited coming off the bench, but then again, I don't think Kelly Oubre signs here again if he hasn't promised that starting role. You know what else is great here? Let's talk about PhillySportsTrips.com real quick, guys. They are the premier travel organization if you want to travel to see your favorite Philadelphia sports teams on the road. They also have great tailgates. Go to their website, PhillySportsTrips.com. Sign up. Mention EOP. Mention Trending in the AM. Obviously, it's too late. Plus, it's sold out. The trip to Brazil to see the Eagles take on the Green Bay Packers. But they have so many great trips and so many great packages you can take advantage of. Of course, all the great Eagles takeover trips. Tampa in September. Saquon Barkley back to New York at the Meadowlands, October 20th. MetLife Stadium. Bus trip down to Baltimore. Again, sounds like a horror movie. Might be my next treatment that I write. But that's December 1st. And, of course, the F Dallas week in Dallas. Birds take over. Beat Dallas November 10th, the day that Season 5 of Yellowstone also premieres. It's going to be one hell of a day. But PhillySportsTrips.com. Sign up. Book your trips today with the best there is in the business. Just make sure you mention EOP, Trending the AM, when you sign up, guys. Make sure you take care of that for me. If I don't know if I want Kellen Moore as the Eagles head coach. If Sirianni is fired, I think the Eagles go Ben Johnson. I don't know. Kellen Moore is going to be a head coach. I don't think there's any doubt about it at some point within the next 12 months. Now, Ben Johnson, he had coaching offers to him this year, and he declined them to stay in Detroit. And I actually kind of like that because a lot of the openings this year were pretty garbage. And your first coaching job, so everybody always says, there's only 30 jobs. Whether it's a bad situation or not, getting their first experience is good. Ben Johnson said, nah, I don't want to coach a shitty team. I'd rather be an offensive coordinator and make really good money and be the coordinator of a great offense and have a chance at a title versus going and struggling my first coaching job. I kind of love it. I kind of love the Ben Johnson, no thank you. Now, I don't think Kellen Moore's got that in him. I think Kellen Moore's the type of guy that it don't matter who calls. Sure, I'll coach. As long as I'm in charge, I just think that's what he is. It never fails. Mitchie Poo with a childish joke. It's what Mitchie Poo does best. And you know who does other things the best? David R. Cherry. He's the best lawyer in the state of Pennsylvania, whether you need a workers' compensation lawyer, a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, criminal law. Call the best. Call David R. Cherry of the Cherry Law Firm, 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let him fight for you. Get you what you deserve. David R. Cherry, Cherry Law Firm, 610-565-0300 or cherryinjurylaw.com. Hit the over today, guys, just so you know. That's right. The over today came. We'll just star all those bombs. Who came up short in big moments during their Eagles tenure? Andy or Jim Johnson? Oh, man. Is someone going to question Jim Johnson? I don't think I've ever, Marshawn, seen anybody question Jim Johnson. I don't think I have. It's interesting. Very interesting. Everybody always blames Andy Reid and Don McNabb for all the failures of the Eagles back then. Time management from Andy Reid, his play calling from time to time, throwing up in the Super Bowl, Donovan McNabb. Jim Johnson's defenses were really good. Think about all those championship game losses. It's not like we were getting smoked. The Tampa game, what was it, like 14-3? You know, the defenses played well. The offenses came up small. And the one time that the offense didn't come up small, the defense blew the Cardinals championship game. But I don't think Jim Johnson was the defensive coordinator anymore at that point. But everybody forgets that year against Arizona in the championship game. Donovan led the game-winning drive. And then the defense took over with less than 2 minutes left, and Brian Dawkins got destroyed, I think it was Brian Dawkins, by Larry Fitzgerald to score the new game-winning touchdown. So just going to throw that out there. But that wasn't a Jim Johnson defense, I don't think. Yeah, well, every day, you're also a day closer to 40, a day closer to 50, Mitchie Poo. I'm a day closer to the next stage, too. House money always wins. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who called the over today? Hey, Marsha, I love what you're asking. I think it's hilarious because, you know, I don't think I've ever heard anybody ask that before. I don't think so, but, you know, that's just my opinion. Good morning, Brad. How you doing today? I think the Eagles can go all the way and make they're going to make the playoffs by default. They're going to win the division by default. I already would like to thank the New York Giants, Washington Commanders, and the Dallas Cowboys for participating in the 2024 season. Now, will they make the Super Bowl? We'll see. Do they have to make the Super Bowl to keep jobs around? I don't know. We're about 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away. This show in 2 weeks will be my record prediction show. I wait till the week the season starts, which is 2 weeks away. So we'll see. Andy Reid came up short as he didn't give Donovan one legit star wide receiver. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Jim Johnson's the best analogy of Fangio right now. He wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't looking. Yeah, absolutely agree with that as well. Fangio said it. He wants this to be his last job. Fangio's getting older. He's close to home. He's already failed as a head coach. Say what you will about Jim Schwartz, but at least called the perfect play. Yeah, absolutely. Look, we give Jim Schwartz a lot of shit in this city, but he was the coach, the defensive coordinator of a Super Bowl team. So give him credit. I give Jim Schwartz credit. I apologize to Jim Schwartz publicly. All the criticism of Sticks D. But you know what? This year might be different, but I take Jim Schwartz over Jonathan Gannon, Sean Desai, Matt Patricia any day of the week. Eagles Andy Reid and Chiefs Andy Reid are not the same. That's a very fair statement, Freddie. Defo. Love Andy Reid to death, but he gave me fits sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. Time management was something. He's definitely changed. He's definitely learned. I mean, he got gifted Patrick Mahomes, which helps. I think it's an interesting conversation to have someday. Is Andy Reid all, in the top 3-4 conversation? He's got multiple Super Bowls and probably a dozen championship game appearances in his career. Is he a top 5 coach of all time? How many times Seth Jordan goes on a tirade about Fangio not being aggressive enough? Oh, man. Seth Joyner is so funny to me, Mr. Eagles legend. Okay? Sounds like every time he bitches and moans that he's pissed off that he's never been the Eagles coach. But yet I've never seen him interview once in my life to be a coach anywhere. He acts like a bitter, disgruntled guy that got passed over for a job. Needs to win the championship game to keep his gig. I don't know. It depends. To me, Duck, like say they just theoretically, let me spell it out. Just say they beat the Detroit Lions in the divisional round in a tough, hard-fought game, 35-31. Then they go to the championship game and they got to face the 49ers and they lose a hard, close game, 35-31. If you have to run the table of Detroit and San Francisco, that's pretty tough. And they're close. But if they go out in the championship game or the divisional round game and get smoked like 35-9 or something like that, then yeah, maybe he's gone. But I think there's a scenario that could play out that if they lose in the championship game, that he still keeps his job, depending on how it all plays out. Also depends on what happens with Kellen Moore. If Kellen Moore gets a head coaching job elsewhere, I think they keep Nick Sirianni. Not from Philly directly. He's about an hour and a half near, like his family is from hour and a half maybe from Philly. This is the closest he's ever been job-wise, coaching-wise to his family. I don't think he's staying with his family every day, but I think he's really close to his family. So that was something that he said he wanted. Somebody clipped that. If the Eagles fall hard during the season, Cowboys Nation would have a field day with that clip there. Yeah, thanks. I know. But the Cowboys are already falling on their faces, right? Still hate the sticks defense, but we were physical. Yeah, absolutely. I tried so hard. I had Craig James on, cornerback, once. And I tried so many times. I asked like 3 different questions about the sticks defense during that interview. And I just kept getting this little grin from him like, I can't answer that. I don't want to answer that. Andy making offensive line coach Juan Castillo. Yeah, that was a good one. You got Andy Reid over Bill Belichick. That's bold. Bold. Seth Jordan thinks he can do everyone's job. Yeah, he does. It's Super Bowl or bust for Sirianni. That's crazy. Maybe you guys are right. Maybe. And this is for you, Mitchie Poo. Maybe there's a poll that needs to be placed on this one here. Why would Joyner want a coaching gig? It's hard, and he knows it. He can complain about coaches and make more. Absolutely. I don't know why he'd want. Like, I don't think he makes it seem like he wants a coaching job, but I don't think he truly does. Do you think Laurie and Roseman can lure Andy Reid back? No. No. Scranton area, yeah. It's like an hour and a half from here, something like that. Top 5: Belichick, Lombardi, Walsh, Reid. Maybe. You might be right there. Ownership percentage, what? I just dropped my son off to school. Why does their new crossing guard lady look like prime Bret Hart shape? Oh, my God. Need to see a picture. At least Andy ain't cheat, yeah. Take a shot. I knew I set you up. I set you up for it. Okay? Caw, Tuki, caw. One final great sponsor of the show is Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue in Ridley Park. For 65 plus years, they've been the quintessential Irish American dive bar in Delaware County. Great food, great times, great everything. Go in there. Tell PJ and the crew that Phil from EOP and Train the AM sent you. Find them on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, DolansBar.com. Go in there, have a great time. Dolan's Bar in Ridley Park. And guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe and follow and share button. 7-day-a-week programming. Look at this lineup. Later day, football smack talk. Talking Philly sports with Matty B. Party on Broad. Tomorrow, 6 shows on the agenda. 7-day-a-week programming here, guys. You don't want to miss a second. That's why you hit that subscribe button, follow button, and share button every day. Continue to grow this great channel. And all the work that all the great people. I mean, Deeves, man. That boy puts together so many highlight videos, so many clip videos together. Man, he puts in the work. Ben Johnson or Bill if Sirianni is out. Well, I don't want Bill Belichick. I think the game's passed him by. I'm not a Bill Belichick fan at this point of his career. I don't. Miami, Florida, where all the Italian gangsters retire. Fangio coming back to Philly. Just when I thought he was done, they Paul May back in. I like the reference here. I like the way you did that there, mister. That was a great. That was one of my movie notes right there. I'm glad that was actually Duck. I think that's the second or third time I've done. I've done it a few times this show, and no one's picked up on it. I think me adding Tuki kind of gave it away. It was on yesterday afternoon, and I put it on for like 10 minutes. It is such a great comedy. It's so stupid, but so funny. David Duchovny at his best. Sean William Scott. I mean, the list of people in that movie. Dan Aykroyd, extremely underrated in that movie. Yabusele. Yes, that is correct. We mentioned him a few times. Good move for the Sixers. The Brett Macho shades are starting to get huge. My nephews have them. My daughter just got here. It's interesting. Oui, Monsieur Yabusele est un succès. See, that was my Rush Hour 3 French voice, my James Carter French voice right there. Is it really called Sports Talk with Matty B? It really is. I mean, he really pushed the limits with that name, right? He really came up with something catchy there, right? Really thought long and hard. Yeah, I said long and hard. Kyle Shanahan is the modern day Andy Reid. Just compare Andy's tenure to Philly. Maybe. Linebacker consultant. Look, Seth could just stay on Jacob Media or whatever the flackety flickety flock they're called. Keep doing his thing. We don't need him anywhere near the coaching ranks. I would like to get Florio back in for a look. Where is Mike? Where Mike Florio? Where is Florio these days? He's defensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, is it? I forget. David Duchovny, best. Look, David Duchovny is extremely underappreciated. But yeah, evolution. Who would have thought? Head and Shoulders. No, it wasn't Head. Was it Head and Shoulders or Perch Plus? Whatever. Shampoo saved the world from alien invasion. In a plot twist, Bronny James dunks on Guerschon Yabusele. Yeah, there's a plot twist for you. Kind of like that. Missed his outside the box thinking today with his comments. And this is what gets you an A+ rating in the comment section. Making comments like this. It should be the points with Matty B. Catch you. The points. I think he's still in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I think Florio's still in Pittsburgh too. Very good though. Still bitter over him getting fired in Miami and the way that all went. I would love him here in Philly. I would love him. Castillo will be the reason why the Phillies win the whole thing. Look, Zach, great comment. Zach, Nick Castellanos, underrated, underappreciated for what he's done. His first month and a half of the season for the Phillies was dreadful, but he battled through it. Probably, maybe, outside of Alec Bohm, the most consistent, and Kyle Schwarber, Bohm, and Casty. They're the three best hitters on the Phillies. And I don't think it's even a question. But again, you left Bryce Harper and JT Romeo on the bench for Cal Stevenson and Garrett Stubbs with a runner on base in the ninth inning, down 2 runs. And as a reminder, my baseless hot take today was pretty blatantly obvious. I said it in the first 10 minutes of the show. I'll say it again. The Skip Bayless hot take of the day. The Philadelphia Phillies will never, ever win a World Series with Rob Thomson as their manager. Never. 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 Damn straight I said it. Florio is in Minnesota as the DC. Okay. Gotcha. Brian Flores. Yeah. I think that's what we're all talking about is Flores. Nick Castellanos is a whole different animal in the playoffs. First season here was atrocious, and the playoffs came, and he started earning that contract. Absolutely. Look, I have no problems. I saw somebody say, they should bench Castellanos for this. You ain't benching Castellanos ever. But that being said, the Phillies still have issues, and it comes with their manager. And the fact that you can't keep throwing Taijuan Walker out there. Can't believe I wanted him back. Now he's back, and I want him gone again. But they got no options. Dave Dombrowski let the pitching staff down big time this year at the deadline. Awful decision to sit them, given the fact that, absolutely, Marshawn. And I said it as soon as it happened, that after the game, when he gets to the podium, he's going to say, I wanted to make sure they had a full day off. Load of horse shit. Plain and simple. You got the day off today. You got a chance to get a 5-game winning streak as you head off to Atlanta for a big series against your division rival Braves, who are still only, 7.5, 8 games back. You got 7 games against the Braves over the next 2 weeks. You needed to win last night. You did not get the win. And his answer was as predictable as anything. And he did it. And again, I said earlier in the show, Marshawn, I don't think you were in the comments. There's no proof yet, no documentation on it, but somebody claimed to be Steve Jeltz called into WIP's Phillies postgame show yesterday. Pretty sure it was Steve Jeltz, Phillies legend, Phillies trivia contest, trivia question answer Steve Jeltz. Saying when and part of the interview, one of the basic things he said was, just pinch hitting in the ninth doesn't affect you and your day off. It's still a day off because you're not playing the field. Stupid. 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 Yeah. I do the Jericho all the time. Whatever. But no one picks up on that. Just like it took like 3 references of caw for someone to pick up the evolution quote of the day. I like to mix things in. You guys always make fun of me for jokes going over my head. I make a lot of little sly references on this show. Well, most of the time, go over all your heads, just so you know. Who's the greatest Italian baseball player of all time? I have no idea. I'm not sure. Whoa, potty mouth Phil just made. Did I say something bad? Dude, I got a potty mouth. I'm an Italian. What do you expect? I grew up in a household where my grandma would say, "State zitto." And if you don't know what that means in Italian, Google it. DiMaggio? Maybe. I don't really get into the whole nationality thing with sports. Like, I don't know who the best Italian player is. I don't know who the best, Dominican player. I don't know. I don't worry about people's origins and where they're from. Like, that to me is a non-story, really. So I can't answer it because I don't track it or follow it. I couldn't tell you the nationality of, excuse me, of probably a single Philly player. I just couldn't. So I don't care. Don't bother me at all. Let's see here on my notes here. We covered Guerschon Yabusele, and it's a very good, low-risk, high-reward potential move. Vic Fangio, we've talked a lot about him. His Josh Joby call-out, great. Tanner McKee. These are comments. Anybody new join? We're in the final 5-6 minutes of the show here. Tanner McKee, second-team reps in practice yesterday. Mekhi Becton, Landon Dickerson, injured yesterday. Josh Sweat, an evolution. I'm going to save my other movie question for tomorrow because I got a great movie question for tomorrow. Stop with the word story. Yeah, the story. Cody Rhodes ruined completing the story. Yeah. I have a question. Why was Babe Ruth called the Bambino, considering he wasn't Italian? And according to Mista, he was light-skinned. I don't know. Funny thing about Babe Ruth. So one of my friends, former employees, friends, customers at my pizza shop, started as a customer, became an employee, became a friend. His great-great-grandfather is Waite Hoyt, Hall of Famer from the Yankees, played with Babe Ruth, and the hometown where Hoyt is from in Pittsburgh region. Just had a big celebration for him a week or two ago. And he's just telling about how he went out to Pittsburgh to visit family and friends and meet relatives he never even met before. Pretty cool that I know somebody that's related to a Hall of Famer. It was kind of cool. Robbie thinking about using a bullpen game against the Braves instead of Sanchez. Schedule start. What? What's this going on now? I don't understand this. They're skipping a Christopher Sanchez start? Why? I don't even have the schedule up for the Phillies and projected starters or anything. Scott Sanchez listed on here on Thursday as the starter. Wheeler Nola Sanchez is what's listed, with Walker on Friday and nobody listed on Saturday yet. So I don't know what this comment is. I'm not sure. Noah Lyles is the biggest crumb right now, American or not. Okay. Joe DiMaggio, greatest Italian baseball player, probably. I think you might have missed it twice, Duck, because I at least 3 times. When you caught it, that was at least the 3rd time I went. Caw. The first 2 times I went. Caw. I went really quietly the first 2 times just to kind of just see, and I kind of just mixed it into a line like a caw, line in there, but it's in there. I make a lot of references that go right over people's heads. I do. The Phillies are talking about a bullpen game either tomorrow or Thursday, which is Sanchez to start. I don't understand that. Why? Are they trying to stretch out Sanchez more? I don't understand that. He's listed on ESPN's starters and probables as the Thursday starter. So I don't know why Rob Thomson would even consider that. He's the one that pitched a complete game this weekend. Didn't throw 300 pitches. The Mafia nicknamed them that. Babe Ruth would fix the score when they ran the number. It's probable. I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. I saw that. Absolutely. I feel bad for Marvin Harrison Jr. having to go play with Kyler Murray in Arizona for Jonathan Gannon. It's a terrible place for a Philly guy to have to go. Sucks for him, but oh well. Phil's shows are loaded with Easter. Yeah, there are Easter eggs in my show, always, but most of the time they go missed. Who's the goat? The goat gangster? Lucky Luciano? Maybe. I don't know. Al Capone? I think Al Capone's a little overrated. I do. I'm not sure. Not sure on that one. That one, I don't know if the 4 minutes left in this show is enough time for me to figure out the answer to who's the GOAT gangster of all time. I don't know. That's a tough one right there. All right, well, we're going to start the wrap-up process here. What are we going to talk about this week? Obviously, the Phillies will be on the agenda all week, as it is a big series against the Braves. This will be a question for tomorrow. What do the Phillies have to do? Do we need 2 out of 3 wins against the Braves? They go 1-2 in the next 3 games. How worried are you going to be? I don't know. That's on the agenda. Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to work on today. Not sure if I'll have it done for tomorrow, but at some point, I am going to do up a graphic with my 53-man roster prediction before the final game, so we can kind of see. I'm going to do who's in the bubble, so we kind of have an idea who could make the team or won't make the team. I'm going to work up on a graphic on that, just basically an Excel sheet and all. We'll see. We'll go over that. So that'll be on the agenda this week. And a great movie question. One that'll take a little bit more time to discuss than just evolution and how great of a comedy that is. How do you feel about Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom? As a businessman, it's a genius move. Robert Downey Jr. is the golden ticket of Marvel. I'll be curious to see how he's brought into the story. I don't think he is going to be Victor Von Doom. I think he's going to be a Tony Stark variant from another world that happens to get the same powers as Dr. Doom does. So instead of turning into Iron Man, he turns into Dr. Doom. That's how I think it's going to go. And I don't know if I like that or don't like that. I don't know. But it's a genius marketing idea. 1,000%. Capone was so good that they only got him for tax evasion. I don't know if he was that good. Michael Corleone, if he was real. He's not real. Because he had bad accounts. Should have washed the cash better. Yeah, exactly. Phillies have to win 2 out of 3. We're going to find out. I don't know. That's going to be on the conversation for tomorrow, for sure. All right, and I'm about to hit the wrap-up, so I don't even care if you guys. My movie question for tomorrow, and I need you guys to prep for this. All right? I've already mentioned it a few times with the Guerschon Yabusele French comments and stuff, parlez-vous français, and stuff like that. I was watching Rush Hour 3 Friday night, Saturday night, I forget when. Got me thinking buddy cop movies. So tomorrow's movie conversation mixed in with Phillies and Eagles talk. Who are the best buddy cops partnerships in the movies? I wrote down my favorite 3. Rush Hour, Jackie Chan. Chris Tucker, Lethal Weapon, Danny Glover, Mel Gibson, Bad Boys, Will Smith, Martin Lawrence. Who is the best buddy cop duos in movies of all time? Rush Hour to me, Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker, the absolute best. That'll be tomorrow. Was Deadpool and Wolverine the best? I don't know. Haven't seen it. Won't see it until it's on TV. But no, first is the best because it was the first. But the best use of money, yeah. With that being said, guys, we got to wrap this show up for today. If you're watching this on replay, please hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button, that replay button. If you have comments on the replay, I try my best to go back and check them out. So make sure you still drop it. And we are live Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., 90 minutes a day, talking anything, everything, Philly sports and national sports, guys. So make sure you're telling a friend, you're sharing this out. You're just getting as many people in here as possible. So please, guys, do me that favor. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm Phil Stiefel. You can find me at Beard of Knowledge, all social media platforms. We'll see what I put out there on social media today. I would like to thank Marvel Movies for making being a nerd, cool. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Michael. Appreciate it. With that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap this up for the day. Got to get to work. With that say, everybody have a great day. Go Birds. Ring the bell. And bubbles up to you guys. Till tomorrow.